where you are joining me from. I would appreciate that. Hey guys, how are you? This is Teresa Strong-Myrick of T Strong Speaks, and welcome. We are talking about a topic that may step on some toes today. Please let me know if you're able to hear me okay and see me okay, because I'm trying some new things. Hello, hey, let me know where you're joining me from tonight. Um, or this morning, or whatever time you may be catching me. We are talking about some things today. But first of all, I am your Break Free Life Coach. Welcome. In here we go from standing on our we go from living in our hurt to standing on them and being empowered by them. So what I do in here is I encourage you, I give you just some different ways to look at things that are going on in your life, right? Because so many times we will something negative will happen, and all we'll think about is the negativity of that incident. And sometimes there's a lesson in there that we need to grasp. So, and there are many elements of that, right? So when you had something happen to you, in order for you not to feel that hurt anymore, you start to develop some kind of defense mechanisms that keep you from feeling that thing again, or to numb that pain, because triggers come up, right? Some triggers come up and you will start to feel those things again. So I'm dual streaming tonight. I'm trying a new platform out as well as Facebook. So y'all bear with me. I'm trying to catch the comments on both of them. I don't want to miss anything. But please let me know if you're in here by saying hello. Chime in if you find something that you I'm not too sure about that, Teresa. So the title tonight is Who Needs Haters When You Have You? So we're going to look at that in two different ways. First of all, this came to mind because I was talking with a girlfriend of mine, and we were talking about how people are always saying folks hating on me. I got all these haters. They make these posts talking to their haters and how, haters hate and this right here. So I got to thinking, are you that close to your haters that you know what they're saying? Are they comfortable with you enough that they're making comments directly to you? Right? Because that's not happening for me, so I'm not sure. I'm sure there are people out there who do not like me, and that's fine because I don't like everybody either. So, we're all human, and we have different likes, dislikes based on who we are, our backgrounds, and all that stuff, and how we relate to people, right? So I'm good with that. Now, if the haters are saying things that you're uncomfortable with, or are they really hurting you? Are they hurting you in some way? Are they trying to attack you emotionally? Are they trying to attack you physically? What are these haters doing? And what is your definition of hate? Right? Because I've heard people say, oh, they on my page and they don't like and they don't share and they don't do this. Sometimes those people are lurking because they're trying to figure out whether they like you or not, right? If you're in business and you have a bunch of lurkers, those lurkers may be your potential clients, but they're trying to figure out if you're reliable, if you're going to show up like you said you're going to show up, if what you're saying you're living. They need to know more information about you before they come on and sign on and start doing all those things, right? And think about it. How many times are you doing something and you just flipping through or scrolling through and you don't necessarily say like, hit the like button or write a comment or whatever? Doesn't mean that you feel any kind of way about that person. It's just you may not just have time to do all that. You just wanted to hear it was good to you and you moved on. So what kind of assumptions are you making? Are they true? That's one thing when we talk about haters. So that was just like my little soapbox, right, on this whole hateration thing. Because I know people out there for real don't like folks, and they may, do different things to try to purposely hurt them. But seriously, I just want to just get that out there. Are they really hating? It's just your perception. How much time are you spending on these haters? If you got time to make a whole post about the haters, then we got to examine you. Why are you spending so much time on this? We have other things that we have. Hey, Elegant Granny, thank you for coming in. If we are spending all this time, and thank you for sharing, on haters and responding to them and talking back to them, then let's re-examine ourselves, right? Because this is what I know and understand. If I am offended by what someone else has said about me, if it's about that, then that means that I kind of somewhat believe that. That means that I've been kind of criticizing or beating myself up about that same thing. And here you are shining a light on it. So now I got an attitude. So now I'm mad. Because let me tell you, if someone came and questioned my ethnicity, and said something that I wasn't who I was, it wouldn't faze me at all. I'd be like, God, child, go ahead, go about your business, right? But if they come and say something to me, like if I've been saying to myself, I don't really like my hair, and someone comes and says something negative about it, then I'm like, don't be talking, what you mean? Then I'm going to question and wonder and go into all this thought about it, right? So that's something I want you to think about when we start talking about that. And that's where I want to go next. Who needs haters when you are busy hating on yourself, right? We are our own worst critics. We criticize ourselves so much, so automatically, that we don't even realize we're doing it. So tonight I wanted to talk about us and how we are talking to ourselves. Now, I know you've heard this before, especially this time of year and all that jazz, but I'm just going to put a little bit more to it. I want you to do a little exercise for me to just help you see it in a different way, right? So let me make sure I have gone through all my points. Please chime in if you have some feelings about this right here. Please go ahead and chime out about all this hateration that's going on. So I'm just tired of hearing haters. So let's talk about how we are talking negatively to ourselves. And this is what happens when we are talking negatively about ourselves and to ourselves. Right, that's what makes us so open to what other people say, right? We are constantly in a state of sabotage. We are sabotaging our ability to trust and love ourselves, right? So if we are constantly saying negative things like, you're not good enough, you can't do that, you're not smart enough, you'll never be able to do that, that's not for you, that's for those other people. If you're always thinking those kind of things, then you are sabotaging your ability to even start. You can't even get started if your own mind is stopping you, right? You don't have enough to encourage yourself. So what I want you to do, and you can do it now or you can do it later, I want you to think of your self-critic as a person. What are the things that critic is saying to you over and over and over again that is stopping you from following that dream, from starting that business, from having that hard conversation, or asking for a raise or applying for different jobs? What is it that critic is saying to you? And you know what, the critic is not nice. The critic will call you all the things that you heard from other folks, right? Like, you're a piece of trash. You are no good. You ain't gonna never be anybody. You know, all that stuff right there. What is he telling you? Is he telling you that you're a coward? Telling you that you're not strong enough? You're not good enough? What is that critic telling you? Now, and I want you to really think about that, and all the things that you tried to do and that you haven't been able to do. I want you to think about what that critic is saying to you. And then what I want you to do with that information is to imagine that person saying that to your child or someone you care about. If that critic was saying those things to somebody that you love, how would you feel about that? How defensive would you get? If somebody started to tell those same things, if you heard someone telling your child that you ain't gonna be nothing, you're gonna grow up to be no better than, or there's no way that you can have that dream, there's no way that you can follow that dream, what would your attitude be, right? That is essentially what you are doing to your inner child. That is what you are doing to your inner child. When you have all this self-sabotage and all this stuff, you are speaking to your inner child and telling them that they are not good enough to show up, that you can't protect them, that you can't stand in for them, because this is the conversation, the inner conversation that's going on. So I want you to just think about that in that realm. Now, are those the words that you want to use to support and to encourage? Right? What kind of things would you say to your child who was having a hard time, who wasn't able to accomplish that goal? How would you encourage them to continue on? That's the kind of thing that you would need to do. Those are the kind of things that you need to say to yourself. So I just want you to think of it in that perspective. Right? Wouldn't be nice at all. You'd be kind of upset. You'll not kind of. I'm gonna tell you about me. Anybody I love and you talking negative about them, we're gonna have some words, right? Because I'm gonna have to stop you from speaking to my child in that manner, because we talking encouragement here. So I want you to be just as vigilant about your child, about you, as you would your child. Right, we never think about how we're doing it to ourselves. That's why if you think of that inner critic as someone standing outside of you and saying those things, there's no way that you would accept that. And even more so, there's no way that you would accept that towards a child. So when you think of that when you think about that internally and how you're speaking to your inner child, then that carries a little bit more weight for some of us. So I just want you to think of that. So now we're going to flip that. We're going to flip this. So the title of this was, Who Needs Haters When You Have You? When you start to encourage yourself and to see yourself as someone who needs to support that inner person, that inner child who is scared, who is doubtful, who hasn't really healed those wounds or whatever, then you can start to take on a different perspective as to how you speak to, how you nurture that inner child. Once you start to do that, once you start on that process, then you don't have to worry about what everybody else is saying. It won't even faze you, because you know that you've got you. You've got you. You are strong enough to handle that inner child, to support them, to love on her, and to give her the things that she needs, because you have nourished. You have been positive. And, I know some of those things, it's hard to start to believe. When you have been speaking negatively to yourself for a long time, it's hard to start to believe those things, but you have to do it. So I'm going to give you just a few little things. There was this book written a few thousand years ago that also speaks on this. So I'm going to lay this on you before I go out of here. Proverbs 18:21, the tongue can bring death or life. You can read the rest of it. Proverbs 12:18, rash language cuts and maims, but there is healing in the words of the wise. Proverbs 15:4, gentle words are a tree of life, a deceitful tongue crushes the spirit. So if in case you needed some other evidence of how strongly words can affect you, I want you to think about that. About that. That was written in the Bible many, many moons ago. And it talked about how we should be careful of the language we use, not only to others, but to ourselves, right? Because if we start speaking positively to ourselves, then we won't accept those negative things that come at us, because we can't control those, right? We can't control what other people say to us, but we can control what we say to ourselves. So let's start there, right? And then we're not concerned about the haters and what they may or may not say. We don't need their support. We got our own, right? So, okay, thank you for joining. You have a good night. Listen. Hey, how are you, Ananda? How are you? We were just talking about you, me and Paul, because he wanted to know, well, do you know who that is? I said, I know she family. That's all I know. Well, thanks for joining. But y'all, I just wanted to give you that word because I'm tired of us talking about haters and who's hating on us. I want us to first to think about whether it's really hate or it's just our perspective of what's going on. Are the words that they're saying, are they bothering us because we have some buy-in, because we believe in some of that? I want you to rethink about those negative things. So those words that you say to yourself, that inner critic that's in you, I want you to think of that as a person speaking to you, and just think about how you would feel if someone else said those words to you. And better yet, if they said those words to someone you love. And I just want you to just take that perspective, because if you're allowing that inner critic to completely criticize, thank you, to completely take over your mind and just be a critic in everything that you do, it will just not allow you to prosper. It won't allow you to go forth and get the things that you need to do. Hey, Gypsy, how are you? How you doing? Thanks for joining. I'm actually about to end, but please catch the replay. This was a pretty good one, and we just talked about how we can talk positively to ourselves. And once we do that, we build ourselves up enough so that we don't care what haters are saying. We have no interest in that. We put no energy into it, right? Because we have built ourselves up enough to support ourselves. And as always, if you guys need to go a little deeper, that wasn't enough for you, and you need to shift some of that negative stuff that's going on with you, then please reach out to me. You can reach out to me by going to, let's do Facebook. You can do Facebook at T Strong Speaks. T Strong Speaks. My website is tstроngspeaks.wordpress.com. You can go there as well. But listen, y'all, listen. Take care of you so that you can care for others. Okay. All right. Y'all have a great night. I appreciate you joining me. Please share this out with anyone who may need it. I do have a virtual vision board party coming up on Saturday. So if you have not experienced that with me, come on and join in. It's not as good as when it's live, but it is still good. So please come on and join me. It's $19.99 only for this month. So come on and join in on that. And I will bid you all a good night. I appreciate you being in here. And again, share. If it helped you, it may help someone else. All right. Good night, guys.